Well, it's another fairy tale season for Wrexham complete. They are promoted to the Championship. History has been made in North Wales and in English football as well. They are the first team to ever earn back-to-back promotions. And what a moment for all the fans, the ownerships and the players, Nige.
History's been made, and we've just witnessed history, like you said there. 3 times unbelievable. What an absolute job that they have done. We talk about the ownership, we talk about recruiting. They've gone around it the smart way. They haven't just gone and spent in an unwise manner and recruited the wrong type of players. They've done everything right. They've also given the American public what football means to communities and towns and cities, and how invested local fans and people are. And it's not just a game, it's a way of life, how these fans look into it. They've done everything right from a PR standpoint. They've made history, and you just got to give them their flowers. Congratulations to Wrexham. I just don't want anyone else to come with any kind of false sense of hope to think it's going to be this easy, because it's not this easy. But they've done it the right way, and congratulations to how they've done it.
I think you can see here Ryan Reynolds, obviously he's emotional about what's happened. They've not just invested their money and their time, they've invested their emotions into this, into the community as well. So I think it's really important to note that it's a really great start for them, and what they've been able to do is accomplish history. You see what it means here with the scenes. I think it's also very important. I thought the game that they played today was a microcosm of what they've done all season and what their whole project's been. They were perfect on the day, they were focused. Someone's got to tell Parkinson that he's been promoted, because the look on his face, I mean, it was almost as if it's just a regular Saturday for him.
That's how it should be, though.
And I think it makes sense, because I think
that's how it should be.
I think that he's so focused on the next step, and you have to be, because the championship will be a real test. And Nigel just said that before we came on air. They won't be able to bully the teams in the championship, because now you're talking about massive clubs with massive history as well. So really good result today, and congratulations to Wrexham. Yeah,
we've seen giants fall in the championship, so but it's unbelievable. It's fantastic to them, honestly. Like, they've done everything the right way. We've spoken about them, and you bring up obviously Phil Parkinson there, just standing there like, this is what you want. You want your manager to be like that, to say, yes, we've done it, on to the next, because that's where the real challenge is going to come now in the championship, because we've seen giants fall from the championship, and it's not going to be as easy as that. But again, I don't want to take nothing away from the ownership group and what they've done, the journey that they've started, and how they've made history before our own eyes. Credit to them.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, to understand the magnitude of going through 3 tiers of English football in the time that they have done it, in the fashion that they've done it as well. Because as you said, they didn't bring in a superstar player that's a huge name to just bring all this money into the club.
I think also, to be relatable for people watching, is like the PSG thing, when they just signed like Mbappe and Messi and Neymar, and they just kind of went full thrown for it, and it was, that was one way of doing it. It didn't feel organic. This like, they've done it the right way. They've done it, a little bit at a time. Yeah, okay, they have better players than the level that they're in, but I think they've done it. And I remember watching an episode back when they first started this investment in this project, and talking about like the field was no good, and that they were going to have to spend an extra $100,000, and it was like a big issue. And these are sort of the little things that, people think, oh, the owners, they show up and they make a commercial and they bring attention to it and they make a documentary. It's all fun. But what about when you get the phone call that the field's no good for $150,000, and
that the roof's leaking,
and that they can't have ownership to the stand, or whatever, these little things that go on. So it is a hands-on project, and there's a lot of little variables and moving parts. And so it's nice, for them to get to the carrot at the end of the road.
That's funny, though, because you talk about the roof leaking. We talk about historic clubs and clubs in England. I mean, Manchester United's roof was leaking in their historic club. They're still going to pay for
it. It can happen.
But I'll tell you what as well, though.
For them as well.
I just want to say, so you've got to give credit to ownership, because you talk about Phil Parkinson as well. From what I see outside looking in, I don't know, but it seems that they trust the football people. That's what they've done. They've gone in there. They haven't tried to take control to say, we know football. No, we're fans. We're invested with the fans. We're invested with the community. But they trust footballing people to make the decisions. And everything that Phil Parkinson and his team has done has worked out, because they know the league. They know football. Sometimes that can be a trap for foreign investors, for foreign owners who go into England and they get wrapped around these agents, these snakes, and they're giving these football advices without realising that these players' contracts are guaranteed. If you sign a bad player for millions, you're stuck with that player. You can't get rid of it. So if you don't have the right footballing people around you to give you their honest opinion and what's right for the club, what players are right for the club, you can find yourself in a very big financial black hole.
I will say also, like in a crazy world that we're in, when new ownership takes over, you don't really know exactly what you're going to get. All the fans looking like, oh, they've got this much money and this is going to happen, and then maybe something else happens. Or they say they're going in one direction and then they're out. Or they're in and then 2 years later they're out, right? Or they're defaulting and they're selling. So it is a nervous moment. To be fair, these guys have come in and they said, this is what we're trying to do and this is how we're going to do it. And they've stuck to it. They've stuck to the plan. Not only that they've been successful, but they've also done everything they said they were going to do from the start. And they've made community and family and old school, English style football feel around the place. And I think that's really important too to the whole project.
That's really well said, because it feels like they've kept the traditions and the core of the club very true. And we sit here on Champions League nights all the time with the richest owners in football and say how the results don't always necessarily match the money that's going into the club. But I suppose for the fans, this is a real special moment, isn't it? Because we said at half-time, you could be a supporter of a club for all your life and you might never see them move out of the tier that they're in. For Wrexham fans, to get to see them go through the ranks of English football, it must be a real dream come true. I mean, I remember when Forest got promoted to the Premier League, that's something I never thought would happen. And now, not only is it great for them, but it's a great example that this is what could happen to your football club, isn't it, Nige?
Yeah, I love using this as an example because I feel that if it's done the right way, the problem is we see this so many times, like Grella says, a new ownership comes, people get sidetracked by, they've got so much money. But just because you've got money doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend money. What I like to give credit for Wrexham and the ownership group is they've done it the right way. They've trust footballing people, they've made the right recruitment, and then for the fan base, they've seen their club go up now, and now the Championship is a massive league. It is one of the biggest leagues in world football when you do about the fans who go to the games and how it's viewed around the world. This is a massive opportunity for them now as a club, as a community, and it's only going to bring more investment, more attention into the area itself. And it's something that these kids, some of the young kids we saw running onto that pitch, they're going to remember this for the rest of their life. They were there when history was made with their football club for back-to-back-to-back promotions. And it's just something that you never take away with you.
So it's Birmingham City that are going up with Wrexham. Anybody got Wrexham going for a fourth consecutive promotion in a row? Or is this where the back-to-back-to-back promotions end?
I'm in America, right?
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
Well, you didn't at this pre-season. By the way, Nigel said there's no chance for Wrexham to go up this year into the Championship. Are you going to change your mind, Nigel, or are you
What, for them to get promoted again in the I plead the fifth, but I don't see it happening. Clip it if you like. Listen.
Will. We love to clip things.
Clip it.
There was a social media thing that we put up on CBS Golazo about Wrexham when they would get to the Prem, if they ever would get to the Prem. And a lot of us, I think, were pretty optimistic in the building. And we got a lot of stick for it because they were like, they're not even going to get out of League One. Well, some of those people were wrong. One of them is sitting here with us. And again, I'll say what I said about League One. I think the Championship will be a big challenge for them. I think it's going to be significant investment in a lot of different areas that'll help them to get forward. But it's possible. I'm not going to count them out. They've done it, so it's possible.
So you're not going to give an answer?
He's not giving an answer because he loves sitting on the fence.
What do you think?
I don't think they're going to.
Thank you.
I really don't.
They're not, and I'll tell you this now as well.
I think maybe one day they will, but I can't see it happening in the next 2 or 3 years.
I don't think it will be automatic. I don't think it will happen next season.
The Championship is going to be a period of stability for Wrexham to really build it. The problem they've got as well now is, with this history that they've just made, they are going to be the enemies of a lot of Football League teams, and especially in the Championship. Everyone will be looking forward to that Wrexham game with everything that comes with it, the Hollywood factor, and they would want to beat them. So they've just put themselves as the unlikable child of the group or something.
I will also say, in the Championship, as you go up the football leagues, you need more quality in the football, right? You can't just say, okay, 5-3-2, and we're going to be organized and defend and be good on set pieces. Because really, when they started the season, first half of the season, very low possession, didn't have a clear identity, cross balls, hopeful stuff, didn't score a ton of goals. They've figured it out now towards the end, and they've added some quality. The second goal today was as good as it gets in European football. With the ball and the scissor finish, obviously. but they have to add quality in the Championship. It's not enough to just go there and say, hey, we're just going to look to compete and be organized. You have to add that little bit of more. You know, like Leeds went up with a bunch of quality, Burnley went up with a bunch of quality, and then Premiership is even more.
Speaking of that quality, maybe Jamie Vardy is on his way to give this Wrexham team a real chance and a real go of the Championship. Do you like that if it happened, Nigel? Would you see Jamie Vardy being a good fit from Leicester to Wrexham?
Jamie Vardy a couple of years ago for sure, but Jamie Vardy now is not the same Jamie Vardy. And you talk about the physicality of the Championship, it's a lot more demanding and end-to-end than the Premier League. The Premier League is more shorter intensive spurts where you need that bit of quality. But when you talk about the Championship, it's like this. And does Jamie Vardy have the legs to still be doing it at that level? I don't think so. I think it's a great name to add to it. But to have him to play every single week in, week out to help your team to do well, I think it's a tough task. I think it's a big ask.
I love a lot of things in the world outside of football as well, but how much does it cost? That's the thing. How much is it going to cost you? Because if you have him and it's understood that he's going to be a guy off the bench that's going to add experience in the locker room, then I can see it. If you're telling me that he's going to start every single game up top for them in the Championship, for me, I worry about the legs. I do. I'm not saying he has him or he doesn't, but I will say that it's this game of football that we all love has shifted over the last 10 years to a very athletic game where you have to run a lot. Is for young, athletic, powerful athletes or people, and you need legs to play it. So if I'm building a team to the Championship or even the Premier League or whatever the big project is, I need guys that can compete at the highest level, that can run for 90 minutes, that can be as sharp as a knife at all times. And so I look away from the names in this situation and I look more for what are you going to give us in the pitch.
Maybe Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh, gosh, there we go.
Here we go. The rumours have started already.
I think you've got better option or better opportunities if you're a manager and you go to some of the Premier League big boys, like the Man Cities and all that. They've got some young talent who need experience and exposure. If they're a manager that they trust, they will give you these young players to say, let them get game times and let them enjoy those moments. And in a club like Wrexham, with everything around it right now, it would be a good environment for some of these young kids who are already at big clubs to understand the pressure that comes and understand the attention they're going to get, but understand you still have to perform. So there is really good footballing moves you can make if you've got the right right. I can't get my words out.
You stay
right footballing people around you.
When I actually it's a really good point because, you know, in England, they use the loan market more than any other market in European football. Like I grew up watching a lot of Italian football. And then when I went to England and signed there, I was like every other week, I was going on loan. And guys were coming in and out of the locker room going, where are you going today? He's going, I'm gone for 3 months. I'm going to Swindon Town. And then next day I'd go in the office and be like, all right, I'm here for, I can't wait to get started. And they'd be like, oh, by the way, you're going to Carlisle tomorrow. But it is something that Wrexham could take advantage of because they can get Premier League players that maybe are not playing 90 minutes that they want to get game time. So it's a great point from Nigel.
It's a luxurious place to go, it feels like, with all the positive vibes that'll be around them heading into the new Championship season.